Yo, what up? It's your boy on JJ Stone, aka Doctor. It's April 10th, episode 16, IQMZ Sports. Say what up to the people, Jason Ferguson.
What's going on, guys? We took 1 week off. We're back now, and we're bringing friends along for the ride today.
What did we take last week off for, though?
We took last week off because Owen actually watched the NCAA championship game.
Oh, we gonna talk about that. But first, introduce the guest, Jason.
We have a friend of mine, another host that I work with on a different show, Rashawn Reeves, co-host of the Red Zone with Kelly and Rashawn. Rashawn, say what's up to everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on.
Rashawn, quick question. What's your team? What team you repping in football?
Eagles, baby, all the way. I'm from Philly.
All day. Okay, so you Phillied out then.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, then that's good. That's good. A quick question as a preview to all the people. We're going to be talking about golf later. Who here watches golf? Raise your hand. You watch? Oh, it will be. God watching golf. Ain't no Tiger. We ain't watching. Anywho, we got Seamus Amos on the production. He just turned 92 years old last week. Happy birthday to my boy. He out here producing in the streets. Oldest producer in America, still killing it. Out here with the 3-screen, got Rashad on mobile. Let's talk about some sports. So as we talked about in the opener, I watched some college basketball, NCAA men's tournament, and I wanted nothing more than Frank's team to lose. That's all I wanted to happen.
Yeah, he was rooting hard for those Tar Heels, man. After they took that heartbreaking loss last year, Frank was really hoping they could pull that one out. And that game was terrible.
Rashad, let's talk about you. Rashad, what did you think of the game?
I mean, I expected a good game. It turned out to be a good game. I'm actually happy that North Carolina won. They came close last year against my Villanova Wildcats. I think that was the greatest college basketball game I ever saw. And, I'm happy for them. At least they made it back to the, championship game. It's more than I can say for my Villanova Wildcats.
I mean, first of all, I'm not really a college guy, but nobody ever really goes back to back to win. It's too hard. So even though everybody predicts it, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, once you lose a couple guys to the league, man, it's impossible to get back. It's hard to get a team to gel that quickly and to do all that and to make that deep of a run. You need a lot of luck to go your way.
Well, I think though, with this team though, they had a few pieces from last year. They did lose Archie Diacono and Oshefu, but they were still the number one overall seed going into the tournament. And I do believe that they got, out of the number one seeds, they probably had the hardest, bracket to reach the Final Four. Playing Wisconsin, they had, seniors. They've been 3 prior Sweet 16s before that, so they were well experienced. But it still was no excuse. Villanova had a 7-point lead with like 3 minutes left, and they blew it. So, listen, I ain't expect Villanova to go back-to-back, but I expected them to get out of the first week. You're the number one overall seed.
And more so than ever, though, in college basketball, the turnover rate's so high where guys are only coming in to do a one and done because they're forced into it, that the teams can't sustain a back-to-back run. Now Villanova, as you were saying, kept a lot of their team, but at the same time, other teams were loaded for bear. So, it was rough. My biggest thing about watching that game, it was a hard game to watch. Gonzaga just, first of all, missing chippies all night. Like, you're just blowing layups like I'm playing 2K on Superstar. Like, what's going on? You're at the rim, put it in the hole, dunk the ball. It was so hard to watch. And then the refs just, I don't want to put it on the refs because the game was so close that the refs couldn't have really determined the game. You know what I mean? But they weren't helping the flow of the game. It was like one of the worst. It was like watching my daughter play middle school basketball. It was hard to watch sometimes.
For sure.
You feel that? Or was that just me?
Sure. No, those refs, every time it started to get a little bit up and down, the refs stopped it for something, to review something. There was a foul. The second half was filled with fouls. Gonzaga lost both their big men with foul trouble. Their Collins, their power forward, he fouled out. He was a problem for North Carolina in the first half until he got into foul trouble. And then the shooting in that game, because the NCAA moves those games to the bigger arenas to fit more people in to make more money, was just terrible. Pinson from North Carolina, or Pinson, I think he was 0 for 12 from 3. And he wasn't just like barely missing those threes. He was throwing up bricks like me in middle school. Like,
Rashawn, do you think the flow of the game was straight, or you just were like?
I mean, the flow of the game was fine for me. I mean, it's college basketball. Like, the kids was nervous. It's the national championship. You know, Gonzaga. Listen, I never expected Gonzaga to make it to the the championship game. So them kids played their hearts out. It's just that North Carolina was more hungry. And they got it done. But I think the flow of the game was cool. Look, it was what it was. I was more so checked out, after, my team lost, you know what I mean? I was just watch it. You see what I'm saying? So I think, listen, listen, kids is going to make mistakes. It's the national championship, millions and millions of people watching. Gonzaga came out nervous. North Carolina, they played like they've been there before. And that's why they're the national champion.
Speaking of these kids, before we move on to the next story, the coach of North Carolina got a bonus of $925,000. Do you know what the kids got? A T-shirt and a coach ride home.
A hat that they're not allowed to give to anyone for anything.
God, it makes me sick.
That's absolutely ridiculous, man.
We'll have you back on to talk about slave labor, because that's a whole to do.
It's the worst.
Let's talk about these ladies, okay? Now, this is a game. Again, I don't watch college basketball, and I really don't watch ladies college basketball.
Nope.
But in the second quarter, my Twitter was blowing up. Somebody had texted me. The internet was ablaze, and they was like, UConn's got a barn burner going on. And I'm like, UConn ladies? They was like, yes, sir. And I jumped on that game when they were playing against, I think it was Mississippi State. Yo, did either one of you guys watch this game?
I did. Yeah, I did the same thing you did. I was not watching it, and then as I'm going through social media, I'm like, looks like something's happening here. So I jumped out of bed, turned it on right as it was going to overtime, and then finished it out. And I still can't believe they lost. It totally ruined my bracket.
I actually like that they lost. And it was a close game throughout. I kept getting alerts on my phone, so I watched the second half, and I just knew coming down the stretch that Mississippi State, they was playing with nothing to lose. They was a 20-point underdog going into that game. UConn, they fizzled down the end. I believe Gino Auriemma probably should have called the timeout, to settle his kids down, but it was what it was. I think it's good for the game, because I'm tired of seeing UConn dominate like that.
They're just going to go back to it, though.
In the overtime, what happened with one of the plays was there was a foul called, and they went to review it at the next break, and then they reversed and gave the ball back, and then they got some a couple of free throws. But even then, like, as far as him calling a timeout, there really wasn't much he could do in overtime, because they were calling timeouts and he was running plays. It's just the Mississippi State was getting those tip balls, and they weren't complaining. The UConn girls really had it on their face like, I deserve this. This is mine. Why are you letting them take it from me? And them other girls is like, well, we going to take it, because they were out there balling. And the one girl, the center from Mississippi State, wasn't even that great. But in overtime, she got like 2 free layups, and boy, she stuck them. And they were running the clock down, and she was like, I think she only had like 8 points. So she had like 4 of those points in overtime, which she wasn't doing nothing the whole rest of the game. But they were so worried about the outside jump shot, they were just leaving the middle wide open. They were not disciplined going down the end. And I feel like he almost was like, look, you girls are either going to do it or you're not. 111 games,
2 championships,
2 national championships.
Yeah, I mean, of course, those girls don't know how to handle adversity. They probably never lost a game in high school because if you're good enough to end up going to UConn, you probably dominated at the high school level. They haven't lost in 111 games. So, of course, once it got tight, the UConn girls didn't know how to respond. They rarely are in a close game.
Yeah. That's exactly the bigger part of it.
That's how Mississippi State was playing with house money.
Exactly.
UConn, they weren't close. I mean, used to, being in close games. It's sort of like how Mike Tyson was when he used to box back in the day. He was so used to knocking people out, but when he got into a long fight where as though he had to show, his boxing skills like that, he kind of lost it.
Yeah, he couldn't do it.
He was so used to knocking people out. So yeah, I think it was an exciting game. Congrats to Mississippi State. That girl Morgan Williams, she came down and nailed that shot, and it was unbelievable, man.
One of the things people will criticize the coach of UConn for is sticking with these ladies and not transferring on to men's college or pros or something like that. And why doesn't he want to have a coach boys and men and all that kind of stuff? Number one reason why I would not switch if I was him, girls come there and stay for 4 years. He could build up a squad and always have a loaded squad. Okay, he lost today, but his program works. His system works. He about to go on another 82 game run, easy. Maybe people see some chinks in the armor, but I mean, nah, B. Like, I wouldn't move if I was him to save my life.
He's going down as one of the greatest coaches ever. The only thing that could happen is if he went to another level is that gets disproven, and why would he want to risk that?
And again, when you go to, go ahead.
I totally disagree. I think winning all the time, I guess it can be fun, but if you listen, he's a coach, so he's competitive. You sometimes you just got to challenge yourself. You know what I mean? He's done everything that he could do at UConn. He can go on somewhere else and they'll still recruit the way they recruit, and the next coach will go on a streak like he's going on. I think he needs to prove it at another level. I think he has a competitive advantage with the women squad over there. I mean, all the great players come to him. I just think such an advantage for him. So I honestly don't believe. I know my co-host Kelly, she love him. But she also from Connecticut. But I honestly do not believe. I can't consider him a great coach when you got the chips is all stacked in your favor.
Okay, first of all, to get the chips stacked in your favor, you got to get the George W's. You can't have girls just show up there without you getting the wins. First of all, so you got to give them some credit right there off the bat. Right. Second of all,
right, so you don't think UConn itself sells itself?
Oh, it definitely does now. It didn't when he first got there.
It didn't when he first got there, and other colleges sell themselves too.
Yeah.
You started winning. You start challenging.
Okay. Who's the winningest player in NBA basketball history?
Bill Russell.
Okay. Did Bill get tired of winning 11 championships, or did he try to win 13 and 14 and 15? Like when you're great at something in some place, there's something to staying there and having somebody come to beat you. At some point, Shaq breaks down. He's no longer the most dominant force in the league. Michael Jordan breaks down. He's like, at some point, things happen. And in coaching, especially, your system gets figured out, your scheme gets figured out. It's for the other team to beat you. And when they can't, winning all the time, that's what everything in life is about, winning. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get a job, bake the best cookie, or, you know what I mean, be baby black 77 and drop out all them 76 other baby blacks. You trying to be the best. So, I mean, I get what you're saying because it's boring to watch. It's one of those things where, again, it had a feeling to it. Like when somebody said in the second quarter, when I turned it on, I was like, ooh, this feels weird because I've watched a few UConn games because, you hear about it. You're like, well, what's all this with them 92 wins in a row? And then, but that game, it was awesome. The feeling and the fact that they lost, oh, man. And now everybody really going to be coming for him because there's chinks in the armor. Now you got to see your coach a medal. Like,
right, if you remember,
I mean, there's only 13 girls on the team. So, maybe he's getting the best 13 girls in the country.
Mm-hmm.
There's still 14, 15, 16. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good players out there.
Yeah, Tennessee used to be the dominant program in women's college ball. And I don't know if either of you know this because I really don't. Does UConn still run the same system all the time, or do they adapt it to the different types of players that they have? Because I know sometimes they have, a center that's good. Sometimes they have guards that are good. I don't watch enough of their games to know if he switches his system up year after year.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah,
Listen, your Bill Russell analogy, I think, kind of fall flat a little bit because Bill Russell was playing at the highest level. Yeah, of course you want to keep winning. When you playing in the NBA or if you playing in the NFL, he's coaching women's college basketball. That's not even the highest level for women. They got the WNBA. He won't even go up to that.
Ratings would say that women's college basketball is the highest level. Ratings would tell you.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't leave. He's a god there. So
it's a professional league that's above it.
Yeah.
Those guys. I mean, those girls right now are aspiring to play in the WNBA. Bill Russell was in the NBA. He was winning championships. Of course, if you at the pinnacle of your sport, you know what I mean. Of course, you want to keep winning.
Wait, what's his record? 472-61.
What? Where?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. 88% winning percent. 88% winning percentage. 88% winning percentage. That's crazy.
That's his conference record, I think. That's his conference record. Underneath is his actual record, 1,083 and 297, I believe.
Well, that's 78%.
Yeah.
That's
weak. He can't get over 80%. I don't believe it.
Right? He ain't covering the spread. It ain't real. It ain't legit. I never believe. I never believe.
I mean, when people call him great, I just have.
You're right. Now, I mean, all he has to do now is send a letter to get a girl to come there. He doesn't have to go on recruiting trips.
Exactly.
It's just a phone call like, "Yo, UConn."
Is Phil Jackson a great coach?
I believe he is. Yeah.
Oh, because he had Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Don't let him walk
the
you
best
down that
players, arguably, in the world. Now, see how you instantly shake your head, bro? That's what I'm looking at you. On it. You telling on yourself.
Again, Phil Jackson was an assistant, with Chicago. I'm not gonna give him all the credit, but he still coached Michael Jordan before he was the head coach. So once he took over, he brought along Tex Winters, and that, instilled that triangle offense. He got Jordan, who was a flat out scorer, to buy into that offense and to buy into that system. So that's what makes him a great coach. So him going over to LA, that was another challenge because LA was in ruins. I mean, they had Shaq, they had Kobe, but they ain't know how to win. So he took on the challenge, unlike Gino Auriemma. He went to LA, taught them guys how to win championships. So that's the difference. Again, and that's the NBA. It's nothing higher.
I'm gonna go and coach the best player in history of the NBA, win 6 chips. Then I'm gonna wait until they acquire Shaquille O'Neal, switch the whole world around to get me another young Jordan, and then win more championships. And you ain't going to sit there and say that he didn't have the advantage, but you're going to talk about this young college dude, coach, bringing a red freshman. Come on, man. What are you? He didn't go to the Wizards and do it.
Phil Jackson was.
How about this? Is Greg Popovich a great coach?
I believe he is a great coach, yes.
Oh, you know why he's a great coach? Because he was a general manager who lucked out and got the #1 draft. Fired. I'm going to pick Tim, bring him in with my world star center, win a championship when the league is in a frenzy, only playing half the season, the first chip, and then go on a run with one of the best power forwards of all time. Oh, he just stepped into a situation that was already pre-built for him. Come on, man.
Again, but you naming guys that's coaching at the NBA level. You're defending a guy that's playing.
And you're calling them great, even though they have the best players in the world.
But Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan wasn't Michael. He was great, but he wasn't, the greatest of all time. Michael Jordan, when Phil Jackson took over, Michael Jordan didn't know how to win. Phil Jackson taught him how to win. Yes, he was talented. Of course he was talented. Shaq was talented, but Shaq also had coaches before Phil Jackson. So as dominant as he was, he still didn't know how to win.
Shaquille O'Neal
taught him how to win.
Nothing team to the finals on the pure fact that he was Shaquille O'Neal. Literally the most dominant league. Nobody. I don't even know who the coach was in Orlando. I don't even know half the players
They had a young Penny Hardaway who wasn't hurt at the time. They had veterans. They had veterans.
Jordan. Like, we got to do something about this brother dunking all over everybody. Oh no, you can't get it. We gotta talk about something else because you're just making me mad with your hypocrisy. You're just
I'm not being a hypocrite, man. Because we talking about it.
Don't make me put your mic. You're here talking crazy. You
but we talking about seriously. We talking about NBA coaches against a women's college coach. You
talking about staying in your lane. You know when you leave the Chicago Bulls, when Jordan leaves, that's when you leave. You know when you leave? When Kobe and Shaq ain't Kobe and Shaq no more. When you come back, when Kobe gets tooled up with 32 people to equal Shaq, that's when you come back. Oh, but you the greatest. No, sir.
Brian Hill was the coach of the Magic when they went to the finals. Brian Hill. They had Horace Grant, Dennis Scott.
Yes, they had shooters. They had a veteran that won 3 championships.
Nick Anderson. Right.
Yeah. Nick messed up the free throw, so Shaq didn't
missed
get
4 in a row.
Yeah. That Nick Anderson.
That Nick Anderson. That's the guy.
But Shaq didn't do nothing without. Oh, come on, man. Shaq. It was Shaq. If he can hit a free throw, you better tell me he couldn't nobody coach him on free throws. He didn't need no coach. He was running through grown people. Who's your MVP, Rashawn? Who's your MVP? Who you got? Because I'm over here looking at Westbrook dunking people's babies and shooting 80 feet 3-pointers to win the game, getting that George W. Who you got?
I got Westbrook. Like, how could you not have Westbrook? Listen, if you don't have Westbrook, I honestly think you hating on the kid. You know what I mean? That's just my thing. Like, you know, he's done something that has not been done in 55 years and only has been done by one man in the history of the NBA. Thousands and thousands of people has played in the NBA, but only one man, well, now 2, has done what he's done, and that's average a triple-double during the season. He's 6'3", you know? He lost arguably the second best player on the planet, and he elevated his game. You know, listen, James Harden is having a great season. I'm not taking anything away from James Harden, but you just cannot ignore the historical nature of what Russell Westbrook is doing. You cannot ignore it. And I think this kid deserves it. For all the things that you've heard about him, that he's not a team player, he's not this, he's selfish and this and that and that and this. You know, the guy's averaging, 10.3 assists a game, or 10.4 assists a game. You know, they are winning too. They're going to the playoffs. So listen, man. I know James Harden made that quote. I thought, MVPs is about winning.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that next story.
Oh, all right.
James Harden. Jason, what you think about my West Cookie?
Oh, he's got to be the MVP. Here's the craziest stat that I found on this whole thing. They said if Westbrook played at the same pace per minute that Oscar Robertson played in back in 61, 62, you know how they go break that down? Yeah. They said with his production, if you extrapolate it, he'd be averaging 51.4, 17.4 rebounds, and 16.9 assists.
That's crazy.
Playing in that same era at the same pace with what he's doing now.
So from one big O to another, being no doctor. Oscar Robertson, that's a bad man pajama. That's one of them old school dudes that my dad used to talk about when I was a kid, him and Will Chamberlain. And just somebody who could literally do whatever he wanted to do on the court. And for someone to break his record, I mean, now the rebounding part, yeah, there's some shady stuff about Westbrook getting rebounds, but that's in all sports where your teammates help you do things. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want to break 20 yards rushing? All right, we're going to get on our horse, and everybody's pushing left, and we're going to get you these last 5 yards. That's sports in general and team sports, so I don't want to hear nothing about, they're boxing out for him to get the rebound. Well, then shut up and get inside the box and get the rebound yourself, because it's still the game. You still got to get the ball, and he's still doing it. That's my MVP. I'm about to cry, put a tear on like T.O., put my shades on and say, that's my MVP.
I think it's crazy because after Durant left, I think people joked around saying, watch Westbrook go and average a triple-double this year without Durant there, and then he really did it.
And the bottom line, he's sticking it to Durant because earlier you said Durant's the second best player in the world. I think Durant's like the 4th best player in the world this year. I'd stick him behind a couple of other people because basically he's just out there on autopilot with the best team. Huh?
We said that Durant was the second best player?
Oh, Rashawn just said it in general because it's a general concept of he is the second best player.
I said arguably.
Arguing. Yeah. I'm arguing that. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna put Kawhi in second place.
Yeah.
Kawhi is my guy. As the second best player in the league /world/universe. But so yeah, we're all in a grill. I know Seamus wants Westbrook because if he don't, I might slap him. And it was his birthday last week, so he don't want that. So I know he on the West Cookie train. Let's talk about. You guys want
me to pick Harden just so it sounds like we can argue?
Oh no, we gonna talk about Harden himself right now. That's the next story.
I know.
And the next story is, should wins matter? Because apparently Harden said wins matter. Now, before y'all say anything, I'm just gonna tell you something. The Houston Rockets are not the number one team in the league.
Right.
I mean, when you say wins matter, I'm looking around like, so you want somebody from Golden State to be MVP? You just said it sounds stupid. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you ain't been in the finals. You ain't been able to get out of the West. And you still this year ain't gonna be able to get out of the West. So you, like West Cookie, gonna be sitting at home on the couch, dollars to donuts, when the NBA finals come around. I best to believe it. I'm not saying I know it. I'm just saying what it is. What you got to say on that, Rashad? What you think about Harden talking smack about George W's?
I absolutely agree with you, man. But listen. I think he was meaning it in a way between him and Russell Westbrook, not him and the entire league. You know,
but both of them don't get that MVP. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but that's he basically got to resort to that now. Like, look, my team got a better record. My team is the number 3 team in the Western Conference. So listen. Listen, it was a funny statement.
Here's the way that breaks down to me, right? Take Harden off that team. I fully believe that team is an A seed in the West. Yeah. Take Westbrook off OKC. I believe that they're a dead animal behind a dumpster in the back of a alley in Brazil somewhere. A body that nobody gonna find. They dead last. They behind the Sixers without Westbrook. That's what I believe. That team couldn't get a George W. Bush if they paid somebody to stay home. They still couldn't get the win. They trip on their way on the court. So MVP is most valuable player, and it's always LeBron James. Yeah, he's the most valuable player in the league. Second to that is Kawhi Leonard, because again, the Spurs are a team, but they always need that catalyst, and he is their new catalyst. And I just want Westbrook to win this thing, because I want to see somebody with some dope stats that don't give a ham Sammy about what he says to people. Like when they're like, "Oh, you're trying to pad your stats to get the assist." He's like, "Dog, I'm 6 for 90. What else am I supposed? I need somebody else to put the ball in the hole because I can't tonight." Like, it's not about that all the time. So, I love me some Westbrook.
At least Rockets Thunder should be a fun playoff series.
Let me tell you something. If for some odd reason it's not gonna happen, but if it did, if the Houston Rockets lose to them or to somebody else suspect, I'm gonna laugh, and Harden not playing defense, the beard fear, his life. I tell you that. All right, what else we got going on? Kevin Durant's back. Does anybody care? Do y'all care?
No. I actually do. I'm curious to see how it's going to mess up the little chemistry they got going there. Now, I know he came back. He had a double-double, 16.10 rebounds. But, Golden State was looking like the 73-9 team, on that 13-game winning streak before he came back. And I know that they were starting to gel before he got hurt. And they look dangerous. They look scary. So hopefully they can get that back, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, Steph and Clay don't know how to play with him right now. I know they were winning when he was there, but they're both not used to being the second and third options in the offense. And you could see when he was out, they both felt a lot more comfortable in their normal roles on that team.
I think that Kevin Durant being on that squad is going to get them bounced out of the Western Conference. I think they might not make it to the finals this year.
Well, I don't think they have the bench depth to win in the playoffs. That was always one of their secret strengths, was that second unit that they could bring in and could score against anybody or keep a lead where it was, or shrink a little deficit and let the starters rest. They gave up a lot to get Durant.
And They brought in somebody very similar to themselves, okay? So here's my thing. If I happen to have a choking hazard, I'm not going to bring in a choke expert to relieve me of my choking hazard. I'm just saying. So if I'm sitting here at the table choking, I don't want somebody else choking at the table with me. I'm like, dude, somebody got to save me. Why we all choking? Ain't nobody free with their hands to choke us. So I just get the feeling that they're going to go in there and not mesh well. Somebody's going to put the body on them because that's all they got to do to Steph Curry. And when his threes don't fall, London Bridge is coming down, and I want it to happen so bad. I want Wardell not to make it to the finals like I want the devil to die. I just want it to happen. I'm sorry.
Well, I think that's wishful thinking on your part because name a team in the Western Conference that can beat them. Spurs can't hang with. Listen, I love Greg Popovich and I love Kawhi Leonard and I love that team. Their guards cannot hang with Golden State's guards.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Two things. One, the bench, as Jason said, is broken down. Secondly, physical contact was shown to be effective by the Cleveland Cavaliers. When you put a body on, now again, I know I've joked on Popovich, but the one thing he does with coaching is spacing, ball movement, and defense. And if he sees some pattern that works, he's like, oh, put the wood to these fools and see what happens. Now, this playoffs, people going to be working on these dudes, and they're not going to have the bench depth that they had last year. And then secondly, I know I just busted on hard and not getting out of the playoffs, but if it's a shootout and they got Pistol Pete, I don't know if anybody knows this, but the Houston Rockets broke the record for threes this year. They out there like, pew, 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 pew. They shooting threes like it's nobody's business. So, I mean, anything could happen. Golden State could lose. Right. I don't like Wardell Curry, if you didn't know. I don't know if you ever watched the show, but I hate Wardell Curry. Hate him with all my heart. I wish ill upon him if it don't bother his family. Like, yeah, I mean, he could just break an ankle and never play again, but still hang out with his kids. That's what I wish for. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's still rich. He's still healthy, but I just want him to never, ever, ever play a game again. I hate Wardell. Hate him.
That's not nice.
It's wrong, not man. Nice, but it's real. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. What he gonna do? He don't watch this show. We ain't big time yet. And when he come back and want to sign my jersey for my daughter, maybe I say, all right, Wardell, I guess I forgive you. You know. But what's the next story? Ooh. The Cavs
hitting the club.
Went to the club. They lost the game, and then they was hanging out in the club. They lost the game.
Blew a 26-point lead
in overtime.
Yeah.
LeBron James got fouled out with the worst ghost foul I've ever seen in my life.
I know. And then LeBron did his normal thing that makes everybody else hate him. And you know.
What LeBron
do? Just the way he reacted to the foul. I love LeBron, but he just does so many things that make people hate him. It looks like he's a crybaby and stuff. That call was terrible. He deserved to react like that, but you know how people just hate on him for everything.
Did you see that call, Rashawn?
No, but I think LeBron James deserves a lot of the hate that he get. Seriously. I mean, he's the most physically gifted athlete I've ever seen, probably ever to play in the NBA. And the way he be flopping up and down and complaining to the refs. I mean, listen, Jason, I know that's your boy.
It is. I know. MJ never complained to the refs. MJ.
Oh my God. First of all, let me get back to this club real quick. So the boys went down to Miami and went to live that night that they lost. Now, first of all, it's a regular season game. Second of all, if anybody should be upset, it's Atlanta that they didn't go spend all their money in the club in Atlanta. They went and took their little quick hop flight down to Miami and went to Club Live on the night they lost a 26-point lead. But let me tell you something about the club. The club is a place to relax. And these brothers deserved to relax because you know why? They had a game in Miami. The media makes me sick. They act like these fools took a L And instead of going home to Cleveland, they flew down to Live Land to hang out with some witches. And guess what? When you look at LeBron James bald himself, he's sitting over there with a couple white punks, some other black punks. Ain't even no girls in the little group. He got like midget men hanging out with him. They ain't even playing basketball. So it's not like he was out here pimping and stripping like, you know what I mean, people with names like Baby Black 77 doing the club. You know what I'm saying? He was out there listening to some music, hanging out. And if there's anybody you got to worry about in the club, it's J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
He kept his shirt on. Matter of fact, they got a picture of him up there. Brody got his shirt on. So you know the party wasn't popping. JR wasn't bucky naked. So who cares?
I hate stories like this. I know people think that these guys are supposed to go home and cry after a loss and sit in the dark and wonder what they should have done, but they just don't do that. It doesn't matter what the sport is, man. They lose, they move on to the next game. That's what I would be doing the same stuff. If I wasn't here, I'd be sitting on the couch anyway because I'm not allowed out. But otherwise, I would go out and I'd be having fun. Like,
Rashawn, you going to the club?
Yeah, of course. I'm not necessarily a club goer, but if my team...
No, I'm saying if you was on the team, you going to go to the club?
Go? Oh, yeah.
Listen, man, they got to unwind. You know, if the coaches don't have a problem with it, if they ain't out there getting into trouble, you know, beating up girls, or, you know, smoking the weed or nothing like that. You know what I mean? They cool.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, hate the media because we up in the club. Next story, something we teased earlier in the show right off the top, something we all care passionately about. I'm going to let the only person that watches golf. How often do you watch golf, Jason?
I watch the final 4 holes of the Masters.
Okay.
Because so again, social media was that's it.
Serious.
Yeah, I haven't usually home.
Rashawn, when's the last time you watched a golf game?
You know, I'm noticing something here, a little trend. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Oh, the trend is the darkness spread. Rashawn, answer the question.
I honestly don't remember, my man.
Probably the last very time, distinctly probably, like it. Probably like it was yesterday, Rashawn. I'm almost positive. I'm gonna tell you when the last time you watched a golf game, because it was the last time I watched a golf game. It was pre Tiger Woods getting ran over by his wife. Okay, watch the golf game. Crazy, Tiger Woods wearing green jackets and yellow jackets and leprechauns and swooshing and dunking
red on Sundays.
Hitting 80-mile-an-hour balls through windpipes. That's the last time we golf game, my brother. I know it to be true.
I actually watched that U.S. Open that he won his last major.
Yeah.
It was against who was it against? It was a playoff too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rocco
Media.
Yeah, him.
I'm not trying to race bait nobody, but besides Tiger being Malaysian, he was actually like fun. Okay, there's something about a dude when he was up in there double fisting and jumping and you know what I mean, and everybody was hyped up and talking about it. That made you want to watch a dude with a stick hit a ball that you can't see 5,000 yards down onto some green grass that slaves probably used to cut back in like the 1800s. I mean, there's something special about that. Seeing him go on the court with the little golf cart, his little Nike swoosh. But nowadays, nobody. The ratings are down.
Nike doesn't even do golf stuff anymore after that.
No. And the ratings are down. I don't know if anybody knew. That's the whole point of this story.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones not watching.
Yeah.
Well, Tiger was the draw.
Yeah. They need a new Tiger. So yeah, that's all I want to say about golf, because we ain't never really gonna ever talk about golf again on this show unless a new Blasian comes back on the golf scene that makes me care. Say again?
Tiger gonna come back. Watch.
Nah, he's done.
Tiger.
I love Tiger, but he is done.
Wait, his hairline's coming back. He's we're wrong.
But that's the one sport that you can play until you old, like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you could play until you're old unless your wife hits you with a car and a life and body. You could play
the golf club.
Yeah. He got hit by a car, bro.
And she put the golf club through the window.
He got Hulk smashed. It's over for him.
You can't trash talk. You can't trash talk after that's happened to you. You know. You lost that era dominance that you have.
Human. Okay. So we're all Philly boys here. The NFL draft experience is coming to Philadelphia in 2017. Quick side note, last year we had the Pope and we used all of our state money to secure the Pope. So now our students don't have money. And now there's a soda tax, but apparently we have enough money to bring the NFL in, shut down half of the dang city for 3 days, and pay them, again, leaving our children out in the cold and shutting down schools all across
Philadelphia. Closing streets today.
But
I believe, or yesterday to build it.
Yes, so we're on to that. So yay, Philadelphia draft. Who's going out there to Philadelphia draft day? Are you guys going? We going? Huh? Who's gonna go watch?
I won't be there. I'll watch the draft, but I won't be there.
No, I'm gonna go to Xfinity Live, because my co-host is coming into town, and we're gonna do a live, video or a live show from Xfinity Live. So,
okay. Are you gonna? Anybody taking their kids to the NFL experience?
It's gonna be too many people.
Yeah, right.
I would love to do it, but it's going to take too much time.
I mean, if you go down on the first day, Jason, you mean you wait in line for 3 hours, you get to kick a ball through a net and a hole and possibly see some C-rated players?
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
It is.
Maybe I can announce a pick or something. You know what I mean? I'll get lucky.
Yeah, and stand at the podium and take a picture.
Hey, there you go.
Yo, that's what we should do, yo, because we ain't got no picture art for the show. We should go up there, get on the podium.
Yeah.
I wear a jersey. You hold up a sign that says pick E section 11, 44th round selects. Oh, too big to play Stone.
You get tackled if you run up on that stage.
Hey, look, tackle me right. We might get a contract at the deal. I might be a dummy for that one. I mean, that's a setup move right there. You're like, yeah, my man hit me. That's cool. It's cool. Get him at the contract. Unsigned, undrafted, like Tony Romo, who we about to talk about. I just want to ask maybe I was going to the draft. I'm not really.
I pretended I was gonna.
I want to go at least one day, but I'm gonna see what's on and popping.
Yeah.
And if it's raining,
maybe.
If it rains, I'm gonna go.
Because then everybody, you might be able to get close.
Yeah. So.
Could you believe that they closing off the Rocky statue? Like they basically like putting some kind of fence around it. I would figure that the new draftees would want to
take that picture.
Yeah, it's just something retarded that Philadelphia is doing. I just don't understand that.
Right. How fast will they bring up booing at the draft because they're in Philly? Will it be like in the first 5 minutes of the broadcast? Will it be by pick 5, pick 10? What do you guys think?
Well, they're gonna boo regardless. They're gonna boo before draft.
I know, but how quick will they bring it up?
I hope they bring it up early and often because I don't want to disappoint. I want people around the country to always fear coming to Philadelphia home games. I don't want people coming in here to the link thinking they could buy a ticket to see their team and it's going to be cool. I want them to go to bed at night thinking, damn, if I go to Philly, somebody's going to rob me. And that's just how it is. Yeah, we beat up Santa Claus. Yeah, we boo before the break. Don't come here with that stuff. You know what I mean? I went to a game in San Diego. There was not that many San Diego Chargers fans. More fans came from other teams. I don't like that. Drop a dime on that. Fear Philly. That's what I like in these streets.
Hashtag fear Philly.
Yeah, fear Philly. Tony Romo is in retirement and wants to be a broadcaster.
No, he is a broadcaster, and he stole Phil Simms' job. They didn't even let Phil Simms know.
First of all, I hate Phil Simms. So that's the only thing that Tony Romo has done for me lately.
Did you hear how Phil Simms found out?
How did he find out?
His son found out. Chris Simms found out from an NFL insider and texted Phil Simms while he was on vacation like, hey, I think you're out of a job. And he had to call up, and they were like, oh, we had called you. Check your voicemail. Right?
Rashawn, who would you want to tell you that you were fired?
Nobody.
I would want the boss to tell me.
Right? Yeah, you would want your boss to tell you.
No, but I wouldn't want my son to tell me.
Right?
I think
because look, I can look. If my boss tell me, I can go home and lie to my son. But think about it is he still got a 2-year contract, so he's still employed.
When your son come and tell you, he's like, Daddy, how we gonna eat? You just got fired. That's right, you just got fired. So, first of all, again, I hate Phil Simms for the record. He is the worst. He's the worst. Bad. He is a crotchety old man that lives a laurel life that he has not lived. He thinks he's special. He ain't special. You Phil Simms and you generally suck. And you act like you're this all-time great, which you're not. Hate Phil Simms. Now he's being replaced by somebody who is really not an all-time great.
Right.
Never won nothing. Only thing he won was a job out of obscurity.
Right.
And people love Tony Romo. Why do people love Tony Romo, Rashawn?
I have no idea. Maybe it's his ears. That's the only thing. That's all I got.
Jason, why do people love Tony Romo?
No idea. I'm trying to figure out how he got bumped up to the #1 team by CBS too. Like, you would think, all right, cool, he wants to get into broadcast and they'll throw you on, the 3rd squad or the 4th squad and you earn your way up because you show some skills. But Romo, I mean, you see all the jokes they're talking about. CBS is worried he'll do great for 3 quarters and then blow the call in the 4th, things like that. Or that when he tries to toss it back to the studio, it's going to get intercepted.
So the reason he got that job is because of ratings, obviously. Well, and people... It's a self-perpetuating story of hype, which is, again, why I hate the media. You talk about Romo, then his stock goes up. So then when you hire him, everybody's going to tune in just to see him do what? Talk about sports. Cool story. He's a nice guy. Doesn't matter. You don't have a plug.
They should have hired us. The 3 of us could have did that.
Yeah. We ain't never played in the league. So as far as they're concerned, you know what I mean? Tony Romo and his half a game playoff experience has got him something.
Listen, if you Google Jason Ferguson NFL, it's in there. Just don't look at the picture because it's not me, but New York Jets, baby.
Last story I threw in there. I don't know if you guys got to read all of it.
I didn't read it. I saw the headline.
Dez Bryant says black people are not the reason they're unsuccessful, are the reason they're unsuccessful, not white people. Rashawn, are you the reason you're unsuccessful, or is it white people?
I mean, I believe I'm successful at what I do, but I mean, I think this country, it has its faults, but you got to have the drive. You know what I mean? I would never say what Dez Bryant said, but it is some truth to it. We can't keep blaming everybody else for our misfortunes. You got to go out there and do it. There's no more excuses. Barack Obama was the president of the United States, man. It don't get higher than that. So listen. It is situations where, you can be held back. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You got to have that drive.
I'm not saying I'm being held back by anything, but Barack Obama was an African, so he had a leg up on becoming president of the United States. No, he didn't. You call me when Michelle Obama become president because she a thoroughbred. She a hunter.
Yeah, but when you hear that he was half white, he wasn't viewed as half white. He identified himself as an African American man who just so happened to be half white. Regardless of what he was different, and his story wouldn't have been possible, just like you say, nowhere else other than the United States. So on that token, I think that this country has taken a step forward. We might have taken a step back with Donald Trump, but I actually believe in people.
I was just about to get to how much forward we went to when right after the dude that, again, I repeat, African, grew up on an island, raised by his mother, estranged from his father. He didn't have that much black influence in his life and his growing up. He had more Pelasian influence growing up than he did black influence. And don't get me started. Let's not talk about that. Let's get back to the man holding the brothers down. Now, no, the man, generally speaking, is not holding brothers down. The man, which I call politicians, holds everybody down equally. If you ain't in the club, you ain't in the club. But the things that scroll down, Amos, on that article so I can read it. The things this fool was saying were driving me crazy. He gave the old analogy of I had a friend that was a drug dealer and he wished he would have did better with his life. And, I've experienced some racism, but I've never had any problems, really. Oh, really? Because maybe you're an athlete and you're a star athlete and people have treated you special because of that most of your life? you get to have the perspective of, oh, I'm a black man and I'm successful. I wonder how successful you'd be if you didn't sometimes catch a ball or pretend to catch it, because we all know that wasn't a catch in the championship game. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like he's bringing up slavery and all this other stuff. He needs to leave that to somebody else, because the nuances of the world are this. He's basically talking about Kaepernick not getting a job because, quote unquote, white people are holding him back. Most of the owners are white. It's a general thing that happens. And it's not just because he's black and pro-black and did the protest. They just don't want the headache. And I do believe somebody's going to give him a job, but they're waiting for that headache to diminish. Closer to the season, there'll be other things going on. So a team brings him in and signs him. It won't be the off-season hoopla that it would be if they hired him right now. But there's definitely racism in the world and other people holding people back, holding women back, not getting equal pay. So, yeah, I mean, we can all pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but at the same time, there's things holding people back. And some of that stuff is economical, which doesn't affect anybody's race. Jason's white. He's not out here dominating the world. You know what I mean? There are things that hold us all back. So I don't want to just dismiss the fact of those things. He's pulling up ownership. Again, when 99% of ownership is white and 95% of employees are black, there's definitely something to the power structure of the way it works and who's making money off of who. So I agree with you, Rashawn. We could do our own thing, and half of Obama became president on his own merit. I get it, but I don't want to hear it from Dez Bryant. Jason,
yeah, that's my thing. Listen, I think Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed. Because I think the people that own the teams don't understand where he's coming from. I think he offended more people more so than Michael Vick offended people with the dog fighting thing. People look at this flag and they take it personal. And I think he's offended, so many powers that be, and I think this is their chance to say no to him, without even saying no, just not even offering it to him. I think we have seen the last of Colin Kaepernick in the NFL. I think in this case, he was held back.
Jason?
Yeah, I think it's crazy when celebrities or athletes at that type of level try and, speak on things like this. It's because they get stuck with so many people around them telling them how great they are and how smart they are. They have all the yes men in the crew telling them, like, yeah, everything's easy. And it's not like Dez Bryant hasn't worked hard to get where he is, because he definitely has. He's a gifted athlete, but he's definitely put in the work to get there. So it's not like he just walked into the NFL. But like you said, he has been given special privileges. I mean, he got in trouble at Oklahoma State. He got suspended. He still got drafted after, running into some trouble there. But the Kaepernick thing, we talked about that before. I do think that he's definitely being blackballed for what he did. And basically the owners are proving his point correct by not signing him. They're proving that it's not an equal system and it's not fair. And I do know that he offended certain people, and I get why some of those people are offended, and they're allowed to be offended also.
The one thing, side note, that cracks me up is I'm waiting for Miami maybe to do something because they could use a backup quarterback. Because at the time when he was doing his protest, the Miami owner was the first person that came out, went to his head coach and said, look, anybody who doesn't want to stand and take a knee, I am fully supportive of them as players. They have their rights. And everybody was like, oh, they gave him a whole lot of backlash. And he didn't bring it up again. He said, look, I made my statements and I'm done, because he didn't want the pile-on of it. But he did stand up and say, look, I'm just going to support my players because my players are African-American. And if they're saying that this is important to them, let them do it. So, again, I'm not out here just trying to say the white man's the devil or anything like that. I just, I'll be talking flamboyant. So let's get to this quote that Rashawn, we be up here reading these quotes, listen to this little bull stuff about people stuff he's saying. You want to read the first one, Jason?
Yeah, it's LeBron James. It was going back a little bit, though, since we weren't on last week, about the upcoming matchup versus the Celtics that they had, if it was important. And he said, man, I've been to 6 straight NBA finals. I'm the last person to ask about a regular season game. And then LeBron went out there and turned into playoff LeBron during that game. So that game definitely mattered to him.
I mean, the thing that cracks me up about LeBron James, when you talk earlier, you guys were talking about him crying. It's like, look, Jordan cried a lot on the court. Like,
oh, he did.
I mean, Michael Jordan would literally look, that he's the crying face for a reason. If you call something against him after like that third championship, like I think he got people executed. I'm pretty sure that like refs got taken out to the woodshed, got beat, came back in, and were calling ghost fouls. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan was kicking people in the face and nobody cared. Like it's just like he wasn't
era.
the saint. Yeah.
Oh no, he definitely wasn't the saint and the myth that he's become. He's still the best player, of that whole era and everything. And you can argue the best player. I know, Owen, you always go back to Wilt, and I don't want to disrespect Wilt, but MJ's still ahead of LeBron in the argument. So there's nothing we can really say about that. But the myth of MJ still cracks me up.
Why you shaking your head, Rashawn? You on the MJ?
Because he's
train?
MJ to the max.
Yeah, it ain't no myth about MJ. It's all factual. You can see it. LeBron James, with that quote, is him reminding us how great he is. Great players don't have to remind you. Michael Jordan didn't tout his resume. You know what I mean? It spoke for itself. LeBron James always feel a need to let you know that he's the boss. He's the one in charge. He's done this. Oh, I'm tired because I played so many games. I mean, come on, man. You're the most physically gifted athlete probably in the history of the NBA. You started the game young at 18. I understand you tired, but Kobe started the game at 18. He played 20 years. I ain't see Kobe.
Kobe Bryant played 15 years. He was injured for like 4 seasons where he never played a game. Don't talk to me about this 20 years of Kobe Bryant's weakness and his Shaq backpack, toting pond. Hey, I'm 18. Let me jump on this lion's back and charge into the fire and let this Simba take all the lion pride down. What are you talking about? Next quote. We were scared to death sitting in the room. Greg Popovich on George Hill for Kawhi Leonard. Oh, he's so lucky again. Greg Popovich swooping down upon the league, getting these magical gifts that help him become a great coach and get another chippy while he's got his player resting on the bench. Unlike Michael Jordan, who didn't take a break and take off of basketball for a whole year and a half. I mean, he never quit a game. He played every game straight. He didn't take a break in between his and go sit down on a bench in baseball and act like he could play. And with his weak gold chain and his funky little brim-folded hat. No, he didn't. Oh, I know the man's dad died, but I see people every day go out there. The dude from the Lakers, Little Russell, went out there and win the game-winning shot day his grandfather died. But Michael Jordan, who arguably gambling, got his father killed, took a year and a half off, but he played every game straight. He never took a break. He never cried to nobody. Next quote, Jason, before I have a... Oh, Rashawn, you ain't never coming back on this show. We're going to Michael Jordan conversation. You over here talking back basketball and these coaches and just blasphemous and disrespectful, as Stephen A. Smith would say. Read the quote, Jason. Oh, Lord.
The quote is, quote, inaudible, Owen Stone. That last part that last segment, inaudible. I got nothing for it. But no, we got Kenya Martin was talking about Kobe Bryant. He said Mamba would literally take your head off to win the game, man. He'd F you up. Nobody ever says shit to Kobe. Like,
you know who said something to Kobe? Shaquille O'Neal when he said stop snitching. You know who said something to Kobe? Kobe's wife when she said, you better give me that extra big double diamond ring because you out here getting in court and messing up and again getting the break. Went from 8 to 24 because you know the work hours change when you can't go home. I mean, an 8-hour work shift goes into 24 when you can't go home.
I'll tell you
that video of Kobe getting punched in the face.
I'll tell you this one thing, though. But I'll tell you this one thing, that quote that was just read, by Kenyon Martin, Kobe Bryant, nobody would ever say that about LeBron James.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. But you know what else they wouldn't say about LeBron James?
What's that?
I'd go toe-to-toe with him up in these streets If it was for real, because quote unquote, I've seen the freight train go down the train many a time, and it's far and few between who really put him on his butt. Matter of fact, the only person I've really seen to go do it is Draymond Green. Draymond Green don't give a ham Sammy about nothing. I've seen
I can't stand Draymond
hard
Green.
to rest for that brother.
Yeah, nobody
I
likes
can't stand Draymond Green.
Except for kick him in the nuts, Green.
I can't.
Kick him in the
One thing that I always said that Michael Jordan never did. He never rested. He played every single game except for the ones I told you he stayed home and played baseball for about 2 years. But we forget about that because in our hindsight, Jordan was the greatest. Jordan's like my ex-girlfriend that was a model. In my mind, she's still the greatest thing in the world. I mean, because she was a model. But in reality, she wasn't shit. She was all right. I mean, she wasn't a great girl. I mean, she was hot. And at the time, when I was with her, it made me look good. But I mean, that's why she's my ex, okay? That's why it's the past. I don't care how much you get along with my jokes. You're fine. Next quote, Jason. You read this quote. Let's go.
Coach Brett Brown on Dario Saric. He said he is beyond competitive. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He cares. You look at that quality, especially in this city. If you don't have it, you've got no shot. He has it in spades. That's who he is. Super Dario.
I believe in Dario because he's the only one that could play a full season.
The whole season.
Rashawn, how much do you love Dario? I know you love him, Dario.
I love him. Hey, for everything they said, he got that Philly spirit. He's one of those scrappy guys. Like, you know, he gonna go for the ball. He gonna dive. He giving everything on the court. You can tell it means so much to him to be playing in the NBA. So I absolutely agree with Coach Brown said on Dario.
What is going on with his hairline in that picture?
I mean, he's foreigner. So that's what's going on with hairline. He gonna get a haircut. He gonna get a shave. But one day some Philly barber gonna get a hold of him and tune him up right. But
He got
my favorite thing is I feel like we finally got us international player like a Turkaloo, like, you know what I mean? Like the dudes that just like a Kukoc, like, you know what I mean? Just a dude's gonna be around a long time, solid player. I appreciate his service. Yeah. You'll be talking about Russ being the triple-double king, Oscar Robertson. Ain't that the truth? That's our MVP. That's unanimous. We ain't even got to talk about that. Next quote.
Steve Kerr, this should have followed the Dennis Rodman criticizing LeBron quote. Steve Kerr says, I got a good kick out of that. Dennis was suspended 15 games a year anyway.
and I bet he wasn't playing baseball while he was suspended either. I bet he wasn't. Rashawn, real quick, without me yelling at you, what you got to say about that break, brother? Huh? What you got to say about that season and a half break?
It's the best show we've ever done.
About that 162 game rest in a row?
Owen's angry hour.
Listen.
I'm listening.
I agree with you that it may have had something to do with his pop getting killed, that gambling. So there's nothing I can say about that. You know what I mean?
Nope. But my question is, what about the rest? Do you think the rest helped him go for that other three-peat?
No, he played baseball, man.
Yeah, but he didn't play what?
He ain't play basketball. But
okay, then that's what I'm talking about. Okay, because he wasn't like a great baseball player where he played every day or he had some tenuous position to play. He sat around eating sunflower seeds, traveling with the team.
Ready? Tim Tebow's a better baseball player than Michael Jordan.
Oh,
was.
hell no.
Oh, what?
Yes, he is. When's the last time Michael Jordan hit a home run? You on the nose with that one?
Jordan hit 2 home runs.
Tebow got 2 already.
Tebow already got 2 home runs, and the season just started 2 days ago. Quote, I'm not going to have too many summers. This might be one of my last ones. Dirk on working out Porzingis, the unicorn. He needs to work out with retirement because I'm tired of seeing Dirk Nowitzki. He got his 30,000, retire. Next quote.
Oh, man, Lonzo Ball. LeBron was making fun of his shot during one of the pre-games, and Lonzo Ball got permission from his dad to say, my favorite player is shooting like me. I'm going to smile.
Cool story, bro. Next quote. I don't think losing bothers these guys in the NBA anymore. Everyone's hugging out there when we're playing, and they're trying to take people's head, and we were trying to take people's heads off. First of all, Kenyon Martin, you ain't never won nothing. I don't care if you was nobody's friend. Maybe you should have been a friend. Maybe you'd have got a chip somewhere along the line. Second of all, back then people were still hugging when you were playing, bro. Like I seen it, believe it, like a 20-year zenith.
And in the 80s, they used to hug. Sometimes they give a little kiss on the cheek, all that stuff before the games. They did all that, man. This is all people just pretending their era was better.
Next.
We already talked a lot about this one. James Harden on the MVP race. I thought winning was what this is about. Period.
And that's what it is. That's why he's not going to win the MVP because it's about winning.
This one was for you, Owen.
What is it? Read it. What's going on?
Kiko Alonso posted a picture on his Instagram. It's him tackling LaShawn Shady McCoy, and I don't know what the actual what his caption is, but Shady commented on it. Boy, your dad wish you was as good as me, and your new contract garbage. LOL, my 2011 money. Take me off your page, you bum.
Ooh, that's good smack talk. I hate this dude so much. This dude from the Cleveland Buster Browns getting on all this media, commenting on everything.
I
hate
this
him.
One's funny.
It is funny though. I give him that.
Yeah.
In light of United kicking that dude off the plane and busting his brain wide open, he said, "Dear United, I had to reaccommodate someone once too with a little pick of him face masking somebody and punch him in the nose." That was funny, but I don't like that dude and I hate him because I hate the Cleveland Browns, but I love the way the Cleveland Browns are going to turn the ship around. So as we have confirmed, the show is now over. It's Seamus's birthday month. Happy birthday to Amos, the Seamus producing the show. And again, take a note to block and or ban Rashawn. So before we block/ban you, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, because you ain't gonna find you here no more. They ain't gonna find you back around here. They ain't gonna find you with an invite. They might not even find you with a link to this show. But go ahead and tell them, for the listeners and the viewers, where they can find you, Baby Black 77. Because I tell you what, grand opening, grand closing, brother. I appreciate you. I don't like firing another black man. You know, we out here together. We try to do it. But you out here talking this slanderous, hypocritical, fraggle naggle, and I'm not having it. I know.
Where's that Dez Bryant quote? Bring up that Dez Bryant thing again.
Give me a
bro. Yeah. Everybody, y'all can find me on Twitter at BabyBlack77. Catch my show on Fridays with Kelly Kells, the Red Zone Live from 6 to 8. Shout out to the Momentum Shift family, Jason, Frank, Courtney. That's what we do,
man. Again, check out his show at his site, Twitter, at his house, because he ain't coming back here. I tell you what, when somebody loved Michael Jordan that much that they blind, that's why I ain't have Frank on the show. That's why you here, Frank. I know you listening with your little Tar Heel Nation self. You just I was about to say a D word with the ride. You just rolled Michael Jordan from North Carolina over to Chicago. And you kept it running. And then you brought Rashad on trying to sneak tip me. He ain't nothing but a Black Frank. That's what he is. Baby Black Frank 77. I see what's going on in these streets. On the show, Jason, and where they can find you. Oh, I'm upset tonight. I'm upset. Go ahead and apologize, Jason. Tell me where to find you.
Oh my God.
You can follow me on Twitter at the Study Hall. I'm fine. Yo, and you can find all of the Momentum Shift shows on goingfor2.com. Also, all our shows are linked there too. And it's a good place to find them. But this was the best show we've ever done, man.
Oh,
because normally I'm yelling at Jason. That's
right. So I'm happy.
Like somebody else taking this heat. Lord knows. And thank you for producing the show. Yeah. You can find me, Doctor on Twitter. IQMZ.com will host this show. The first and last appearance of Rashawn. Episode. If we can figure out how to blur a face and put it in witness protection, we're gonna do that, Amos. That's how we gonna do this. Follow us on Twitter. If you got money, throw it at Patreon. If you don't, subscribe on YouTube or iTunes or RSS or Android or all the places we gonna be without Rashawn Reeves, because this is last show and repeating this because I don't want to hear it. All right, thank you for coming, brother, and I appreciate you leaving. Take the show off.
All right, fellas.
I appreciate you, Rashawn.
All right, man, have a good one.
Man, look, I hate Jordan lovers.
I know.
He would have loved Jordan so much, man. It's a lot